masterpiece.
And we are back. Tech issues. But we're back now. And we'll just go right into it as soon as everybody joins.
We are back.
Yeah. We'll just hang on. So I was saying welcome to Navi Work, your guide to settling into a new environment, fresh out of school, or transitioning from one organization to the next. I know and I recognize that it can be challenging to navigate the waters of a new environment. Um, but that's why we're here. Thank God Married Meets Money has joined back. And everybody that wanted to join back, please go ahead and join back. And thank you, Married Meets Money. Thank you, Fit Banke, for letting me know that these are tech issues and they happen. I have such an amazing support system, and I'm genuinely grateful for you guys. I am absolutely grateful. So this is the Love Month, and we thought no better way to wrap up the Love Month, the month of February. No better way to do that by thank you, Masterpiece, for logging back on. Yes, no better way to wrap up the love month except by talking about romance in the office. And I had two speakers in mind to play out two different scenarios, but I am very confident that the people that I have on can, sort of talk through both scenarios. Scenarios where husband and wife can work in the same office and it's fine per policy, and situations where somebody has to resign because the office policy does not permit romantic relationship or romantic relationships or couples working together in an office. So if you're not following us on our YouTube channel, please go and follow us at Navi Work Life. When Roshan posts that, I will pin it. And then when we start the live, I'm sure that our host would give us their Instagram handle so that you can rush and go and follow them. So before I invite them, I just want to talk a little bit from the book. Remember, I'm the author of the best-selling book that is on Amazon and Seller, Body Up. Hi everyone, Body Up. And it's the guide, and that's where I did I got a lot of the things I was talking about from. And every time I'm preparing for one of these lives, I feel like I'm learning again, even though I was the one that wrote the book. So we talked about workplace romances. So that's it. Let me pin that. Thank you, Roshan. I'll pin it so that if you have not followed us, you go and follow, and I'll mention it again. In your workplace or office, is the man or woman of your dreams sitting at a desk within your eye shot, just across the way? We are social beings, and it can be comforting to have a special someone around to offer moral support when you are feeling stressed, or to celebrate with you when you feel on top of the world. I know I would like that. Keep in mind, though, that these situations could stir up gossip about what is happening in that relationship and could even provoke accusations of favoritism, depending on the dynamics, of the relationship. If you find you like someone in that tingly, butterfly, terabum kind of way, must everybody in the office know about it? Do you have to disclose this? Then I will just go right to the end. I said, don't tell people, at least not directly. Let me see what I said there. Privacy is implied in the workplace. If you learn that two co-workers are in a relationship, there's really no need to be a tattletale. While at work, be professional and avoid the temptation to gossip. A friend of mine once had a post on her desk about being professional always. Regardless of what the relationship is between you and your colleague or colleagues, you can seldom go wrong by simply remembering and repeating the words of wisdom. Be professional always. So now, Fit and Well Banke, yes, she was the one that was telling me, don't worry, we have all these tech issues happening all the time. We already have our guests here, and I must say that I really, really do appreciate them. They are the husband is my resident pastors, and the wife is just a fantastic HR body. She has helped me from some HR difficult situations. But before I bring them on, I would like to read their profiles so that you can get a sense of the big wigs that I'm bringing to you. So please have all your questions ready so that you can ask them. So I will start. Yes. Nneka and Jethro have been happily married for about 14 years. Their marriage is a product of office romance. So they said it, I didn't say it, they sent me this profile. They met at work and clicked as they aligned in godly values and life goals. The journey to getting married was bumped with challenges, but based on their convictions of God's word to them, they pressed on and wedded on 27th August 2011. Their marriage is now blessed with 3 children, with many other material and unquantifiable blessings. Jethro Iruobe serves as resident pastor at Davis Christian Center, Lagos, and works as the head HR and communications at CAP PLC. With about 2 decades experience as a HR executive, he has led significant transformation at the companies where he works and regularly provides training and HR consulting service to growing Nigerian businesses. He's a trained marriage counselor. Nneka Jethro Iruobe serves as a deaconess at David's Christian Center, Lagos. She's currently a director at KPMG West Africa and is known as the Happy Employee Coach. So you guys know who I'm talking about. Teaching employees how to be happy at work by showing them how to manage their managers and multiply their pay. She has authored 5 books, including the best-selling Find It Bible Games, a book of Bible-based puzzles and poems featured on CBN Africa. She wrote the books Why Your Boss Prefers Your Colleague and Who Is Using Your Salary to Help Maximize the employment relationship. She coaches employees to build wealth from salary and leverage the employment relationship for career growth. Together, see how they are loving you guys. Together, they run the page Marriage Meets Money, teaching couples how to maximize their joint finances to accelerate wealth building. So these people are just loaded. These people are, their couple goals. So without much ado, we had technical issues, and I know that Jethro has a meeting. And I also told some people that if you join and you met in the office and you want to show your face, I may just add you, but I need to finish my session with Nneka and Jethro because I know that Pastor Jethro has to run off. He has another meeting. So now I'm going to look for them and add them. I think they sent me a request. Let me accept it. Let me see. Please let me know once you have seen the request, or let me look for you and add you, because we always have these issues. No, okay. So I have accepted. Please let me know whether you've seen it and then accept. I use Marriage Meets Money. Let me know if you guys want me to use another one. How is everyone doing? How did you guys enjoy Love Month? Let's talk about that before they join. Were you under pressure? Were you oppressed in the office? You're waiting. I have, you know what? Let me cancel the request and just try to add you. Let me cancel your request. Let me cancel your request and try to add you. Let me cancel your request and try to add you. Okay, so I've invited you. Please let me know if you've seen the invite and please join. Yes. You need to turn your camera around. Don't show us where you procreated. Oh! Why do I feel like I've not seen you forever?
Well, we haven't seen forever.
Please a lie. I mean, comport yourself. Hello, Pastor Jethro, gentleman extraordinaire.
How are you?
I'm very well. Very soon I'll be calling you Dr. Jethro. You're following the footsteps of your father.
Abi? Yes, sir. Very soon. Very, very soon.
Very soon. Auntie Nneka, how you doing? Hope you're not come to help me multiply my money. I'm beefing you. I need to multiply my money
together.
We're on the journey. First of all, I'd like to say that I'm very honored. I know that you're busy. When you're not working, Nneka, you are working. When you're not working, you're working. And Pastor Jethro wears many hats. So I know that this is a huge sacrifice. I do not take it for granted. Please, the last person that came on our live, she has not sent us an address for which to send our gift box. So please, immediately after they send us your address, don't let us wait. Her gift box is waiting. She has not sent us the address. So please don't let us wait. It's not a lot, but it just tells you that we do appreciate you. We know that you're busy. We know Lagos is a busy place. And so we don't take it for granted at all. So we're very, very grateful that you showed up. And you guys look amazing. You still look in love. You still look. Is it because you are still in February, or this is how you guys always look? Please, pray tell. You guys are freezing, no? Which network are you using? Pastor Jethro, you took me on a presentation where you told me that when you are doing a live, have backup network.
We have like 3 backup, or if it's backup, there's plenty.
Because he
I'm
taught
going
me that
to
one. I attended, I think it was the journey, and he was talking about presentations. He said, when you are doing a presentation for the office, have backup network. I can never forget. He talked about your lighting. I'm a student too. So, Oga, please, you need to practice what he taught you. Yes. Okay, so yes, I wanted to ask you that you guys look so much in love. Is this how you always look at each other? Or is this how you always look? Or this is for the life? I need to understand.
It's not for the life. Why? It's not for the life, it's the life. Yeah, that's it.
You see, she's rhyming. She's rhyming. And please, I take notes. Look at my notebook. Yeah, so it's not, so your marriage should not be for the life, it should be for it is the life. I'm writing that. So that when we start tweeting it and posting it, you will know. You know. Yeah.
But before we go ahead, thank you very much, Ameze, right? We also appreciate the opportunity to come on your platform, right? To have this conversation, you know, because of course, a lot of people to reach, a lot of people to impact. So yes, we don't take it for granted at all. So thank you.
Yeah. Most welcome. So let me tell you the history behind this. Nneka Iruobe always comes on my live. And I know that she met her husband in the office and one person had to resign. So I wanted an example of an office situation where, you know, because of the office policy, one person has to go, and some offices that can accommodate the marriage, even though somebody eventually goes. And I was talking to Pastor M, and she said, why are you not talking to Nneka, Jethro? I said, happy employee coach. You don't have my time now. She said, talk to Nneka. You know, so, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And so thank you for thanking me, but you know, the honor is mine. I am the one that is really grateful. So let's get right into it, because I can tell you that a lot of people like love, because I had the highest impressions on LinkedIn based on this particular post. So I was telling my colleague that works with me in Malawi, who helps me, like director for sales and marketing, global director of sales and marketing, and I was telling her that people like love.
Oh yeah.
And the office is a place where you really don't want people to think that that's what you came there to do. You want to face your work, you know. So it's another person commented to me and said, I've never seen anyone that works. I said, the people that are coming on, you know, or I've never seen one for myself or anyone that works, something like that. I said, well, I know a few, and people that are coming on are a good testament to this. So I want you to tell us your story. You know, how did you navigate? And you can flow. Where I'm writing and you are too fast, I'll just tell you, please, this is a nugget. I have to write because I'm a student too.
No,
yes, so please.
Yes. I should start. Okay, he said I should start. Okay, so he was working in the company first. He had working there for like a year. Yeah. Right? And then I got hired. Now, according to him, he remembers what I was wearing the first day I came into the office. So quick shade. Let me shade while you have the mic. He said he remembers what I was wearing the first day I came in, right? And a couple of, so what even said this was the fact that the office had a culture where people were encouraged to help each other to and through the office, right? So yes, so when the first day I joined, they asked me, oh, where do you live? The HR person asked, where do I live? I said, oh, I live in Agor Palace Way. Oh, this person lives in Festac. This person lives in Agor. This person, so these are people that you can follow to and through the office. So that was the culture. It wasn't just culture of support each other on the desk or the walls. It was real. So I had like 5 or 6 people I could follow to and through the office. Yes. All I had to do was call in the morning. How early are you leaving? Where am I going to meet you? And that was all I needed to do. So that was where it started from. And then I started following him to the office because I lived in Agor, right? He lived in Festac. So I would meet him. And I mean, there were like 8 or 9 options, really. There were many people. And I would meet him at Apple Junction, for those of us who live in Lagos, Nigeria, right? And then I would join him into the office.
Guess who's
And then he used to
interested in your love story like she does not know, Pastor Mildred? What are you doing here?
Oh, goodness, Lama.
Like she's not the one that recommended you guys. Thank you, Pastor M, for being here. Please don't let Nneka stop her. She was flowing, oh. Please, PM, don't let her stutter. Nneka, please continue.
No, it's fine. 100%. Mama knows the story now. So I would follow him to work and I would listen. He used to play his pastor's messages, which is Pastor K's messages. And I got curious. I like how this pastor is sounding, sounding really cool, and really nice. I would like to go to the church, and just see who this pastor is. That was it. Now, my husband being who he is, always invited people to church, he's an evangelist everywhere he goes. Honestly, I can't remember if he invited me or if I volunteered to come. He didn't invite me. Okay, so I think one Sunday, you just saw me, Abby.
I think you joined me on a Wednesday.
I think I joined him on a Wednesday the first time, right? And I was like, no, I don't think Pastor K preached that day because my church of Pastor K was a Sunday. And I was like, this man is too young. Is he the one that is saying all these things that I've been hearing in the car on the way to and through the office? Now, he has his own version of the story, but my own version is that I was following him to work, right? And then one day, there are a group of guys. You know how people have friends that look like them, you get, and think like them. So they were friends who were guys of faith, cool guys, doing well in work and all of that. And I heard them gisting one day. And so one of them in the group, in that gist, said, this Nneka is take home to Mama. And then he says, will this Nneka agree to take follow anybody home to Mama?
I not say that.
You see, he won't agree. Wait, he won't agree in this gist. But me, that's I gave caveat at the beginning that I have my own version of the story. I gave a very clear caveat.
I suggest you will listen to your version. I promise you will have the right to defend yourself. Nneka, go on. And I mute my mic so that there is no interruption. That's why I mute my mic, but I'm laughing all the way.
No, it's fine. So, and I said, which one we should follow you to Mama? Have you even tried, which one? Fast forward a few weeks, I had someone I was seeing, and then he had invited me to church I've been just a couple of times. Went to church with Amaka, Pastor Amaka, who is Pastor Amaka in DCC, invited her to church as well. There was Pastor Mark as well, who also we dragged along with us. And then one day, we go to see Pastor M. Pastor Amaka and Pastor M were having a conversation. This was maybe 15 plus years ago or thereabouts. And then Pastor M was like, is there anybody? And I was like, I don't know if he's interested or not. I'm not quite sure which one he's doing. Yes, at that point. So I'm going to pause there, right? And allow him to say his own version from maybe when he had interest or whatever it is, wherever he wants to start from.
Nneka has paused. Pastor Jethro, you go.
Okay, my own version is not, honestly, it's not the typical flow, all right, of how we started. Okay, it started from, I would say, from the negative point to positive. Yes. Okay, so when she joined my team, then we're working together. When she joined my team, where we worked before, she's the kind of person that, like all those students in school now, in class. So when the teacher finishes announcing the announcement, they raise their hand up. So when
we know them.
So when she's in team meetings, she's always talking, always giving her view. I did like, with this one, with the talking, and I was a senior. Who is this person itself? She was always talking, sharing. What is this? I didn't like her. I did not like her at all. But because we live near each other, she used to join me to work. All right. So coming to work and going back, and to be honest with you, it was very difficult for me to be carrying her because I didn't like her because of that. I'm more reserved, and she's more outgoing. So I didn't like that. Who is this person? So coming to work, in fact, there was one day, I think I told her, there was one day, to show you how much I did not like her. One day I was driving out of Festac. I got to Apple Junction. For those of you that know Apple Junction, I'm somewhere in Lagos, Nigeria. When I got to the junction, I saw her on the other side of the road. I saw her, but I just put my face straight as if I didn't see her. Yeah. I drove off.
Exactly.
I
He left
just
me.
I just pretended as if I didn't say, because like I don't want to carry this girl in my car again. I beg, find your way. You know, so I came to work that day and I felt bad. But one day the Holy Spirit now said to me that, Jethro, say you know that you cannot resent another Christian. That's how he told me. So you know you cannot resent another Christian. And I was like, yes. He said, okay, from today, I want you to start to love Nneka. And that love is not romance love, you know, God yourself. For today, I want you to start to love Nneka. So you have to now take the action to love her. And I would say he broke it down, because what came to my mind was, okay, when you drop her in the evening, coming back from work, when you drop her at her bus stop, when you get home, call her to find out if she has gotten home. So this is all I not like, something like that person. You know? So I had to obey. When I carried her home, drop her at the bus stop, I go home, I carry the phone, and I'm like, have you got to? I just have my face to me sometimes, like, you know, like I'll be asking her, have you gotten home? You know, how I know, okay, all right, you got home well, Abby. My face would be spoiled. So on the other hand, she'll be happy that I was calling to check. Meanwhile, inside me, I did not even like what I was doing. You know, but I found out that over time, as I kept doing that, I began to see, oh, wow, this kid's not like that too. Oh. There's something here, you know. And the rest, as they say, is history. We are here today with 3 children.
But it's a truly amazing story, because I think that because you're a guy and there were 8 other people, you could have told the Holy Spirit, not be only me, you know, somebody else can carry her, and then you'd have lost out on such a precious gem, you know, because Nneka is very driven, and I can see, because we're all marriage counselors, I always see how opposites can actually complement each other when we don't focus on the negative attributes. But how was it at work? People are talking about Holy Ghost, and people like love. I'm already seeing Holy Ghost set up and things like that. But how was it at work? Did the company? I like the fact that the company encouraged carpooling, you know, bodying up. So that title of my book said "Body Up." Like having friends in the office, and because Nneka, you know that organizations like it when you are friendly, because they know that you guys will encourage each other to be here. You know, and then if people go out, they will now start telling you that it's happening here. So what are you doing there? And I know that people often say, let's just do our work. We're here for the work. But it's easier to work with you that you like.
100%.
I'm sure Jethro was loathing working with you. But if he liked you, it would have been much easier for him to get on with work. And the Holy Spirit would not be having to convince him. So in terms of the office culture, how did that play out? Does KPMG, or did the company at the time, I think it was KPMG, they encourage relationships and married couples work there? Because I know that in JP Morgan, at least in the UK, of course that's where I know there's JP Morgan, people are married, but they work in the same office. So what's the culture what was the culture in that company?
Okay.
And because I know that Jethro left, but you know what I mean, and you're a director there now.
Yeah. So the culture was very clear. If you're going to be in a relationship with a colleague, you needed to come forth and declare it, because it wasn't exactly encouraged if you're in the same team. Remember that we're in the same team, and this team was a very small team of about 10, 12 people. It's a very, very small team. 10, 12 people.
8 to 10.
Yeah, so it was a very small team, so it wasn't something that, you know, you could just like keep under the table. But I think the first thing was we got, first of all, sanctioned by our pastors, by his own pastors at the time, right? So
you're starting going to church now. So for all intents and purposes, that become a pastor.
It was a case of I like this church. What I used to do on Sundays, I would go to my own church in Redeem, or I'll come to the first service, then go and serve in Redeem for the next service.
Wednesdays, as they are carrying you home.
They just carry me now. We're all coming from the office. We all just go to the church together. Do you understand? But Sundays, I would either come for first service and then go to RCCG where I was attending.
So you're talking about sanction. How did you even know you wanted to date this person? How did you
that's where I'm going to get to. So he had then gone. So I had a relationship with Pastor M at the time, right? I had now known Pastor M. We had spoken once or twice, and then she then said, "Oh, that who I was not like, I'm not sure if this guy, whether is he signaling, is he not signaling? I'm not quite sure what's going on." Right. And then after that, so when he would call me, the first time he called me, like he said, I'm like, "Hope you just dropped me for bus up. Why did they call me to say, well, you don't reach us, you don't reach us?" But anyways, if you call, that's fine.
You don't even make it easy, madam. You don't even just make it easy.
If they call me, well, that's fine. It's okay. Remember that there were other people that in my life at that time, right? So I wasn't quite sure what was going on. But as we started, driving to work together, speaking together, then he would come to see me, right? At home. Yes, he declared his interest clearly, right? But then, then we knew that, okay, how are we going to deal with the office end of things? Because
Pause. After how many drops at home? How many months after you joined did he declare his interest?
So I joined in October of 2008. I think sometime early Q1 the next year, so maybe call it 4 or 5 months, was when he intensified. So it wasn't like he hadn't said, "Oh, marry me" or anything. It was because of this person has your attention and is giving you attention, that kind of thing. Okay. No, the Val of 2009.
Valentine, this February. It was there. I know it's pressure everywhere.
I don't remember that one. But
he bought me a perfume. And he hadn't said anything. So when he bought that perfume, now I remember, yes, he bought that perfume, and I was like, okay, this is signaling that there's something going on here more, right? Yeah. And at that point, of course, two of us have been listening to Pastor K. Two of us are children of God. We know what the rules and regulations. We had similar values, I must say, and it was clear in our conversations. Because those rides to and fro the office, you would have conversations, and it was clear that we believed the same thing. We had similar values. We were clear on those kinds of things, right? So from there, we continued the journey, but we knew, okay, office had the rules and regulations, right? Then he then spoke to Pastor M, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and said to Pastor M that, oh, this is the lady interested in her XYZ. Pastor M already knew, but I already told her prior to him saying anything. And I'm not sure if this guy, is he signaling, is he not signaling? I'm not sure what was going on. So we used to have a secret conversation, and talk. Myself, Pastor M and Amaka, maybe after I made it, like, I don't even know which one is he saying. We used to laugh about it until he finally came forth, right? After he had spoken to Pastor M, of course. Now, for the office end of things, we were clear again. When people ask me about this thing, I go live, talk about it. Our values were aligned, right? And one of our values was strongly, there was not going to be sex before marriage, right? And I think that's many people, that's something that trips people up with office romance. Once you start interpreting that,
thank you. Go on.
So that's one area for us that we're very clear on. The other thing is that we didn't want to flout the office rules and regulations. So we actively started praying and saying, Lord, okay, what do we do in this situation? Because we think that we are both convinced that this is the journey that we should be going on, right? What do we do? A couple of friends knew, right? Like Pastor Maka knew. We're all in the same company.
One of to join you that they're talking about her. I don't know. She's asking me like how. Join and find out, please. Continue.
One of his friends, two of his friends actually, Michael and Uzo, right? They knew as well that, okay, something was going on here. But we now actively started looking for an opportunity to leave, right? And as God will have it, we didn't have any cause for me to report to him in that waiting period on any project.
Okay.
Right? Because that would also further compromise. But he used to tease me a lot then. My husband can be a prankster. Yeah, okay. He can. So he would hide his phone or take an anonymous number and call me and say, Nneka, I know what you're doing in the office. I'm going to, yes, not once, I'm telling you.
There was once I did it. There was once.
And I would freak out like, oh my God. Because, I'm like a do it by the book kind of person. Like,
you know your type.
I wrote the notes.
That's best.
When I wrote a note to her, and I said, you know the rules. We know what you are doing. You know the rules. So I gave it to her anonymous note. She didn't know it was me. She was freaking out.
Can you imagine? Can you just imagine? Imagine? I was so scared and petrified.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one day I almost lost it. Like, God, what are we going to do? Because, just like we want to do it right. So we start actively praying for an opportunity for one of us to leave, right? And we try to be a little bit coded while we were in the office, try to keep this a bit more professional. I remember one time he went for an interview. I was the only one that knew that he wasn't in there. He was in an interview. So one of the more senior colleagues, the manager, came out. Here's this Jethro. He told me that he was going to come late today. Not up to 2 minutes, Jethro calls her. So she comes up and say, are there walls? The walls have ears in this building. Why is Jethro calling me? I just finished calling his name. I just texted him, Oga, quickly call XYZ person. They're looking for you. No, of not Oga, but
I just wanted to know whether you know what's going on here. Okay.
Yeah, so we tried to stay by the rules, right? And it was a short period before we had now said we were going to go ahead with this, and then he now had to leave. But we kept by the rules. We, as God helped us as well, not to be assigned on the same project, right? So that conflict would have not been there as well. And then we had guidance as well from our pastors, from our friends, who were also looking out for us, you know, in the entire process. Yes.
Well, so did anybody that was not your friend ever threaten, like those notes that Pastor Jethro Nneka Iruobe is saying that she would have freaked out? But did anybody ever tell you that they would snitch on you, or did anybody ever accuse PJ of favoritism based on his feelings or his affection for you?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. People didn't know. If people didn't know.
People didn't know. It was that.
You were that coded.
So I learned a habit then. My phone was always face down, because sometimes he would call me or text me to come outside or come to one place. So I would raise my phone just to the corner and check who was calling before I would turn it up, you know, so that
Okay, so
oh God.
The questions have already started coming in, and I'll take them. If you have questions, please put them in the question icon. But now I'll take this one. So I think it should be PJ. Did anybody in the office try to talk you out of marrying her?
No, nobody. My friends were generally supportive.
But someone asked you, are you sure she will listen to you?
Okay.
All those apropos people, are you sure she will listen? If she's not listening, she will learn to listen.
Some people did try to talk me out of it, Sha, because they felt like,
okay, let's ask you. So did anybody try to talk you out of it?
How much does he have? Because we're just 1 year in terms of tenure in the business. So it was like, KPMG boy.
As an Igbo
how much?
Girl, like Igbo girl, you people like money. Can this say Shaman cope? How much does he have at this stage? But you saw the future. You saw that this is going to be a
my sister. All those people that are saying those things, well, let's just say God has proven himself to be true. So people, and then some people said things to me like, someone actually said, maybe they didn't tell him, but someone actually said to me that they were worried for him that would she listen.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure you had all those. I don't want us to go into marriage counseling.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys had all of those. I want us to focus on the office. I will call you again if anybody sends me I'm troubled in my marriage and I'm in the office. I will call you people back. You know. So yes. So you navigated that. So you read the policies, because some people are like, if the company is big enough, why can't we? It's very important to know what your company will accept and what your company will accept. And I suspect that because of how big the company was, if you were in totally different departments, it could have worked.
We have people who were married in different departments. Yes, we do have that. Yeah. We don't know. If they're in different units, different divisions, it was fine. They were married and it was fine. There was no issue. Nobody said anything about it. So it was 100% fine.
So he left before you guys got married?
Oh, yes. Oh.
Right. Okay. That I didn't know that part. And Nneka, send me a message if you want me to join you, add you to the live. Just send me a message. I want to look at the questions. Hi. Did you know he was the one? Okay. Did you know he was the one? So I want to ask all the questions because a lot more will come in. So when they come in, I'll ask you. So I'll make a mental note if you don't answer anyone. Somebody has asked, did you know he was the one? I say people like love. Another person has asked, how did you manage going on dates after work and all and still be coded? They want to know your FBI skills, because I think that people here that want to start dating in the office, you better be careful. They read the policy. He left. Okay. Did anyone in your office try to? Okay, that one has been asked. So yeah. The first one is, how did you know it was the one?
Yeah, there was one time I went out. Went to Silverbed. I think on Saturday, Abby.
It was Saturday, Abby.
Well, Saturday.
Yes, so
I went to see a movie. And we saw one of our colleagues.
Senior colleagues.
One of our senior colleagues. But of us came to see a movie now. So, of course, she's not a mumu now. She should have started suspending that. What's happening here?
Then there was once we were in the car and the other people in the car, if you remember. So he was driving. I was in front per usual. At that time, we were already officially in a relationship, heading to get married. And then there were other people in the car. Yeah. And then he was about to, when someone's about to slap.
You were already officially in a relationship, heading to get married, but you had not left the organization.
Yes.
Okay.
But we had agreed that we were going to get married, right? We knew we were going to get married. It was a question of
backup network. Backup. Okay, you're back. Okay. Thank you.
That once he got a job, we would then properly start planning the wedding and all, right? So that was already going on already, that conversation. Can you still hear us?
I can hear you clearly. I'm looking at the questions. I told you they'll be running in. Continue.
No
Yeah.
problem. So we were in the car, and as per the culture of the company, you carry people to and fro. So other colleagues were in the car. Rotanna was also one of us in the team at the time. Yes. So she said she had an inkling, before we made the official. She had an inkling. Then how someone slams on brakes suddenly, and what came out of my mouth was "Sweet Jesus," and I was like, God, did they hear? Did they hear? Did they hear? I wasn't quite sure, but I just got a straight face. Like, I don't know if they heard or not. But
you were calling him sweet. You were calling him sweet. You were calling him sweet. Well done, sweet. Is that what you still call him now? You call him Agbabola?
That's what I still call now, no.
Okay. So somebody asked, because Jethro has told us how the Holy Spirit sort of taught him to love you. But PJ, to be honest, the Holy Spirit told you to love her because he didn't want you to resent her. He didn't tell you that she was your wife. So you probably have to tell us how you discovered that, but the question was addressed to her. So you can also answer that when she's done. How did you know he was the one? So Pastor M said that he must have sounded like sweet Jesus, so that's why they didn't pay attention. But it's not sweet Jesus. It's not sweet Jesus. It's sweet, my love, Jesus. But it's okay. So Nneka, how did you know he was the one? Well, how did the Holy Spirit tell you?
Okay, so like I said, when he gave me that gift, right, I thought, okay, officially something something was going on here. And before this time, I had prayed and said to the Lord that when it was time for me to get married, I wanted to have a strong female figure in my life, other than my mom, that I could talk to, right? And just before this time, there was a Pastor M, right? Which, remember, I had mentioned before that I had been saying, I don't know whether this guy, and then when he finally spoke,
your pastor, you're not in the church, but you have developed a relationship with her.
No.
She's badass like that. I didn't tell her before. I would have brought her on. She would have blasted both of you, but I didn't tell her before, so I don't know how she's looking. I would have added her. But go on, yes.
So I started praying about it as well, like, okay, Lord, how far? And then the two people who seemed to be interested at that time kind of started misbehaving as well, right? And then it became impressed when he now asked. Sam was like, okay, he's asked now, so that kind of thing, how far? And scriptures came to me. It may sound cheeky, but what came to my mind and what came to me at the time was, his name is Jethro. He will teach you, like from the Bible, right?
Jethro to Moses' father-in-law.
Yeah, exactly. And I used
to go and get old man names. Okay, but that's not your fault. It's your father's fault.
And I used to question it because I'm like, everybody knows that Jethro was Moses' father-in-law. Don't spiritualize it and make it seem like God is speaking to you about this. But every time I would question it, and every time I would be like, and like I mentioned, we had an introduction, was a bumpy road, it wasn't quite straightforward like that, right? He would always come and God would say, now me tell you this thing, this is where, and then we'll have conversations about scripture. And I would be so excited, like, I'll be excited. Like what is, because I know it's giving this insight.
Your courtship was so spiritual. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. I love it. I love it.
So that was how I knew that. And then amongst other people that were coming, he was serving in church one. Our values aligned. In fact, there's something I tell people. There was a card of goals I had in my wallet, very small card. Travel the world this number of times. You remember, visit this, do that. And one day I got it and I showed him. I was like, see this thing. He was like, did you write it for me? I said, for you. Before you hear, this was. But it was so exact. Another thing that did it for me was he would share what he wanted to do. And then I started managing his tokens for transfers. So he would want, before we got married.
Before marriage, you were managing his tokens.
Before. So, but caution, no, caveat, Biko, we're not saying you must copy and paste that, but that will work for us. Yes. Right? I started managing his tokens, and he just felt like this is someone that he could trust. I also felt like, you just give someone a token to do transfer for you, do this, do that. I would follow up. Have you done this? And my husband is a businessman at heart. He loves business, and so his passion. One of his first passions is business. He really does love business. So that kind of excited me. He's traveling. He's going to go and buy stuff. I love having those conversations and all of that. So all of those things came together, and I loved DCC. And I had fallen in love with Pastor K and Pastor M. So I was like, this is it. He's coming to the church. Let's go. So really, those are the things that brought me there.
Okay, so I have another question. Okay, so Pastor, PJ, before let me get your version of how God told you. And somebody made a comment that Bible is your love language. Okay, so PJ, how did God tell you, apart from the resentment, love, like how did God say, go ahead, this girl will help you blow because she has helped you blow? Get it? Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Honestly, I can't. Before, okay, now our relationship went through serious crisis, or at some point. Okay, I would say that when we started, I can't say I had a clear word from God, to be honest. When we started,
Thank you. Nneka makes us go and start looking for Jethro in the Bible. Please continue. Mm-hmm.
So I can't say I didn't have a clear word from God, to be honest. But it was from that resentment that now turned into love. Okay. So I just basically started to flow in that direction. And let me also say that the day I was going to go and propose, the evening around 6 o'clock, I called Pastor M. I was at somewhere in Lagos. That there's this Apple Junction.
I will send that message now whether I should add her because she's featuring too much in this story.
Oh, yeah.
Let me send her
very strong part of the story, 100%.
So honestly, I actually called her on my way to propose to Nneka that evening. And I told Pastor, Mama, I want to go and propose to Nneka. And Pastor M said, these were her words, as David never lost a battle.
Nneka, you are a war. You are a fight. It has to be a battle.
I don't know if you remember, but that was exactly what you said that day.
Oh
I remember where I was. So I went and, everything worked out. To be honest, like I said, I didn't have any clear word. But when our relationship was now going through, through some crisis, that's when I got a clear word from God. And God told me, go. I wrote it in my Bible. If I find it in my Bible, I'll say it in there. God told me clearly, say, Jethro, go, don't run away. Because I was thinking about backing out to all the whole crisis, everything. Yeah. He just said, go, don't run away. So I wrote that in my Bible, and I think somebody else also, gave a word of knowledge, and it was like word for word, exactly how God told me. Or the same way, this friend of mine who is a prophet, kind of, also still say word for word, so confirmed what God had told me.
Interesting. Okay, so you knew, and thankfully you had a covering over your life, and you were both doing well at work. So your love did not affect your output. Because Nneka, I don't think that it can ever affect. This is your wife. She's a bit much. So I don't know whether love can affect. I think our love language is work. I know they put Bible there, but I think our love language is hard work, not just work, hard work. Like when she's not working, she's working. So apart from that, when you guys were so something, a word to those, just a sentence before I ask the next question. When you find that there's somebody that you are loving in the office, how do they make sure that it does not affect their performance in the office? Because it could. Because those initial stages, you are thinking, but I know that when I'm in love, if I'm typing something, my mind may not be there. It's just that, thank God for autopilot, I can be typing something. There is when I type the person's name that I realize that I've moved. So how do you make sure that you are still giving out excellent work when you are, you are lovebirds?
Feelings.
Yes.
Okay, maybe I can answer first. So for me, all right, I believe that work is service to God as well. I strongly believe so. All right. That when I'm actually my number one boss, my number one boss is Jesus. All right. So I just ensure that I just focus on my work and get the work done. To be honest, it was also, I won't say it was not a challenge that time, because I'm sitting down here, she was behind me, maybe like 2 rows away, so it was not easy at all, but it was also interesting. It was also a fascinating.
It was not like stolen waters. It's intriguing. Nneka, just let's meet outside. It was not like that. Wow. Okay. So that means you did not, when you had performance appraisal in that period, your scores did never dropped. You were still on point. It didn't distract you that much.
No, at all. In fact, there was no distraction. We just kept.
I think we also encouraged each other in the work as well. So when there were challenges, because like you said, I like work. So I won't run away from it. I like, I like work. Yes. And my husband is very hardworking. Even till now, there are times he's even in a quote, a more light place, in quote of quotes, was always coming up with new initiatives. Let's try this. Let's do this. So we encourage each other with work. You say, babe, even this evening before we came live, what do you think about this thing? I'm like, oh no, do like this, add this one, add that one, remove that one. Oh, thank you. Sometimes I want to send this mail. What do you think? So for us, it was a case of, we knew that this was to God, and this is a case of, we must do this thing well. Again, we felt like we're supporting each other, and that even the marriage thing was not about lovey-dovey, it was about purpose. So I think that also for me, helped me. I've always thought about marriage from that perspective of purpose, is for purpose, for assignment. So I think that also helped.
Yeah, we are thinking purpose. I'm not thinking purpose that I was thinking love. We are thinking purpose.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. So somebody has asked another question, and the person's question, Pastor M said that I should let you guys shine. That you should keep collecting and you should keep calling her name. She doesn't mind. You guys should just do your thing. Okay. So somebody just asked, how has being former colleagues affected your marriage? That you were colleagues before. You can say, this I used to behave in the office. So it's only God you are the one that told me to marry this guy. You say go. As this one, they say, as David never lost a battle. This a battle. This a war. This a I don't want to call the guy. So how did that affect you? I'm sure there are times, everybody that's married, there's been times where you say, did I hear God? I can't believe this guy, I can't believe this girl. But the colleague aspect of it, people say, are you sure she will listen? How many times did that play in your head in the marriage? They tell you for work, you not listen for work, now you won't listen. So how did that affect your marriage? That's the question. I hope the person
I want to share his story before he answers from his perspective in terms of
please go ahead. I know he said he has to go, so I'm very.
Oh no,
you told me he has to go.
His meeting was even moved, so we're good.
Oh, because I'm conscious, but it's already we've already done 1 hour. Do you believe that?
I can't believe it. I'm shocked.
Yes, and we'll upload bits of it on YouTube and on your page. So please, thank you so much. So that people that that missed the questions can ask. So share your story and please let him talk. Thank you. And thank God, Pastor Jethro, that you're around. Yeah, thanks.
So I remember that there are many stories that are coming to mind when it comes to one of the first things.
Stories, because we will learn from your stories. If you watched our last live, our speaker, we learned by her stories. So please, 100%. Shoot, please.
One of the first interesting ones was, I'm not really a makeup person, right? I'm not really a fashion dressing.
Can't really know from the posters you've been posting.
Yeah, I know people always say that, but naturally, I would rather, in fact, before I got married, I had mostly boo-boos. I'm not a fitted clothes, no. And I remember one Sunday coming to church, we're not married then, and my husband said to me, and I wouldn't wear makeup to come to church, to DCC in the morning, I'll not wear makeup then before we got married. He said to me, it's like there's someone you're making up for in the office, that you'll be coming on Sunday to church, when we'll see you during the weekend, and you will not wear makeup. So I had to start wearing makeup, right? Meanwhile, there were, in quotes, rivals in the office. So there was, if I one of my birthdays, somebody else gave me a cake. That was a different story, and he was very upset. Why did I take the cake home or the card home? Oh yeah.
What did she do with the cake? Did she send it to give to security man?
Throw it away. He was very upset, as in he was very upset that, and the guy wrote some really personal stuff on the card. Like. This is live. Let's not talk too much. A couple of phone people, So, which I found interesting. So there were two other guys. This particular guy actually gave me a big cake, and everybody was just looking. Those that knew what was going on were like, okay. And that person was his senior by quite some.
That person was not his mate. Oh God! And they were asking these people, "Girl, will you not jump out? This more money is cash. This what? But you said how much is money? PJ is on the way."
So, wow. With respect to the colleague one, I think for me, there's a positive and a negative side, right? The positive side being, considering we work in the same place, he kind of understands my struggles, right? Because where I work, the workload is crazy.
Yeah.
But you are constantly
there forever. So you are a director now, please don't complain.
You are constantly on, the pressure can really get crazy. So he understands. But the downside to that is, where do I find the balance and draw the line between taking it for granted that he should understand?
Because he's been there.
Because he's been there. right? So when it comes to that work on, right, the other side to it though is that when I can gist with him easier because these people are real human beings in his experience. So when I say, oh, this person said this or said that, he knows. In fact, today he came to the office, right? And he's seen one colleague here, one colleague there, and then we came home together. So that side, so that for me personally was from that angle of that concern of taking for granted that he should understand, or being grateful that at least he gets it when I say this is going on, this is pressure, and he's had to step in sometimes, and make calls and say, no, this pressure is too much. For my
But you have left now. Which one is calling the office now to be telling them? I don't understand. You see our supervisor. Please, sir. Mind your business.
You had to do that. So over to you. I don't know your perspective on that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll just think about what you said. Working together, for me, I would say it has helped me to understand, the workload really, like you said. Initially, the early days, it wasn't. I didn't find it funny. All right, when we just got married then, because I was expecting we just married now. Let's even, but coming home 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, so it was really tough, But because I've also gone through that, I know how it is. It's easier for me to, try to understand. Okay, no wahala. But there are times like I think about last year or 2 years. I think it was last year. I felt that from when I come home from my own work, as soon as I'm coming back, I will shut down your laptop, whether you are doing anything or not, because I felt that the pressure was too much. So by self, when I come, anything I do, just finish it. Once I enter the house like this, whatever you are doing, whether you're having Zoom meeting or video call, I will shut down your laptop straight.
I have to do some of those.
Oh yeah, she listens.
Because the pressure was affecting me, to be honest. The pressure was affecting me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she listens. So I had to even call her office. And of course, because I know them, it's easier. You see, because I know them, I can pick up the phone and call her boss.
Yeah.
Call her partner. This thing is getting too much. What's happening now? She's going through the because of work and all that. So because of that, they will try to now make adjustments. Okay, Nneka's husband has called, or he's complaining. Okay, what can we do? What can we do?
Interesting. Oh wow, so this is for you as well, Nneka. So with all that work, Nneka is doing find it in the Bible. She's doing why your boss prefers your colleague. Throw your face, because I have to ask him. He's doing why your boss prefers your colleague. Whose salary? There's something about your salary, something that Nneka collect. You're making money from that book. That template I sent you, you've not paid royalty. Who is enjoying your salary? Things like that. She did all those things with this schedule you're talking about. So how did you handle that? Nneka, kudos to you. He's super proud of you. You can tell his shoulder is rising.
Oh, he is 100%.
So how did you manage that? Clearly you were very supportive of her. If not, shutting down her laptop tells us that you know how to put your foot down when you need to, but you are also understanding of her health. So how did you manage? Nneka was able to do all these things in spite of this crazy work. And I've asked her for favors before. That's how I know she's busy. Ask her. I'll say, Nneka, I know, I'm begging you, please just send me. I need something like this. And she'll say, I know she's moving something to do something. And even you, Pastor Jethro, have called you to say, what would you do about this? How do I handle this? So I know that. So with this crazy schedule, Nneka still brought out 5 books. How did we manage that? Because I wrote 1 book, and I know how I'm commanding my friends to praise me. Like, Pastor, you never help me finish for the one I do. You're asking me for the second book. Ask her. You don't get harassed. Before you be asking for the next book, please finish praising me for 2 years on this book before another. But these 5 books with this schedule, how did you manage that?
Okay, I think I would say that she managed it. She played a huge role managing it. So she wrote those books, going to work, commuting to and fro work. Those books, those 2 books, So I didn't even feel that she was even writing a book. I have to be honest with you. I just know that she would write and say, babe, help me look at this thing, edit it, so help me review, edit, and I'll review. Okay, do this.
Highlighted as the chief editor of your book. Hope you put his name there as chief editor. Please continue, PJ.
So, but the fact that she was able to, use her commute time, that really helps, So the Lagos traffic can be a blessing if you use it well, So that's where she wrote out the book. To be honest, so I won't lie to you, I didn't even feel it. I didn't. I have to be honest. The one I complain about, the one I complain that's the excess work that I have to shut down laptop and all that. But for the books, to be honest, I didn't feel anything. It was just, I don't know that, I've read this book, coming to work, going back, I have this idea. She wakes up very early in the morning. Yeah, okay. So she wakes up like 4:30, no matter when she sleeps, by 4:30 she's up. So by morning, if sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I'll see messages from her before I wake up. Of course, she has woken up now. She has been downloading and telling me things. So she uses that time to write, to get more chapters done. So I really didn't feel honestly, I have to be honest, I didn't feel anything.
No, thank you for your honesty. But Nneka, your brain obviously works overtime. I'm sure you have 27 hours in a day, while the rest of us have 24. But how did you juggle and still be a star employee, because you're a director? So that tells me that you're doing quite well, in your organization. So how did you do it? Any tips? Because we always encourage multiple streams of income, and those books are creating multiple streams, creating speaking engagements that are bringing in streams that will reduce the financial pressure at home. But it's I know Jethro has given us a cue, and what he said, even though he didn't couch it like that, is that turn every disadvantage an advantage. So your traffic became an advantage for you. So you could write in the car. So how did you do it? Thank you. Managing all of this and managing your home.
Yeah.
Because he's not complaining about the home as well. So,
Not. I think he is always more concerned about my mental state, right? And I tend to be like an open book. If something is not working, he will know, right? So his focus is always watching out for that. Like at every point in time, he's always watching what is going on with her mind, what's going on with her mind. And this may sound cheeky, but I tell people that my heart is my greatest.
Nothing sounds cheeky. Just give it to us. Yes.
My heart is my greatest asset. Is what I tell people. I try not to keep any clutter in my heart. By that, I'm careful what I watch in terms of movies or music. I don't allow offense to stay in my heart, right? And to be honest, which I said cheeky, I feel like that allows me to get a lot of flow very easily. That's what I think, right? And I am blessed to have pastors that see me and I listen to. So, for example, Find It Bible Games was simply because Pastor K kept on saying, package your talent. In 2015 or so, he preached a message, talent is not enough, package your talent. And I was like, listen, I want package. At that time, I was doing spoken word poetry. I said, people know they buy poem for Nigeria. Why am I going to write a book of poems? And then I realized the Holy Ghost told me one day, put together poems and puzzles in one book. And that was how I'd never seen it done before. That was how Find It Bible Games came across. But I was using the puzzles to serve in church. So when we would have Connect in our house, then I would design puzzles for us to use during Connect. With the poems, he would push me to perform in church, right? The very first time I did in church, it was quarrel to the morning they called me up the stage because I was like, this is just for writing, I beg, not call me to come do it, talk anything. But those things that began to open opportunities. So I had support. Did we have disagreements along the way? Oh, should we be spending, for example, to publish our first book? We had to come and gather that money together and say, is it worth it putting it into this book? So we had to go through that journey of, but when that first book came out and started selling, in like a month or two, we sold 1,000 copies. I was like, there's something here. So we gathered money again and went to print again. And when it was time to print, Pastor even had to get involved for the first print set to come out. Yes, we had to go and meet her together and say, okay, should we put money in this thing or not? And it took time. It also took us, both of us, evolving. Me understanding that there were things I need to make sure I do. So for example, the home front, I like to make sure there's food in the house, right? So I bulk cook, make sure that I have 3 or 4 different types of soup. There is stew, there is this, there is that, and then also provide support. And we have conversations. So when something is taking too much time, we're able to talk to each other and say, no, you're not giving attention to this. And we've grown. Initially, it wasn't that smooth. Should I pause?
Excuse me. So that means that all your activities never affected your deliverables at home.
No.
So that means you're
are just an oppressor now. Because I've always said that if I find the Proverbs 31 one, I will beat her up. You can ask people that are close to me that she has created, if I told Pastor one day, she's just like, you don't be looking for rev where there's no rev. I said that Proverbs 31 one, not be one woman. That they gathered many women, put them together, and they say it's one woman that is doing it. It's a man that wrote that story.
So,
I should just laugh.
to be
So your
honest,
home didn't suffer.
no, it's not like when we say we didn't suffer. What I mean by that is that we had to have those conversations ongoing.
Difficult.
And when we couldn't come into a landing, we got counseling, right? There were times where he felt, oh, you are giving too much time to this thing. But if it's about writing the books, there was no like, oh, this particular time. It was, you're giving so much time to work. You're giving so much time to this and not to that, right? And we would have those conversations. And when we felt we needed counseling, we would go and ask. Because we're also being raised in a church where we knew you may not be able to figure this thing out all on your own. So ask questions and get. And Pastor M, even till 3 or 4 years ago, would tell me, see how I'll message her, Mama, I'll see. She will say, do this one like this, do this one like that. Because we are both very creative people. You get, both of us are very active in the world. It's not like one person is. And for me, it wasn't like I was looking for. We didn't do this thing because we're looking for extra income. It was more from a place of assignment. So I didn't write Find It Bible games because I thought, oh, yeah, no, it wasn't because I thought I was going to make money from it. Which was where there was a concern when we were going to print the first one, because there was no clear plan to make money. We're going to just gather money together and go and print 1,000 copies of book. Who does that without any clear plan, right? But it was that obedience that got them honored. But the journey to even printing, we had to even get counseling. Like, this woman wants to go and put this kind of money in this thing. We don't know what it was. And I was just moving because I was convinced that the Holy Ghost said, write the book and print it. That was it. When I went on CBN Africa, that was also through Pastor M, they asked me the same question. Like, why did you do this book? Have you seen anybody do it before? I said, no, it was just Holy Ghost said. And I was like, let me do it before Holy Ghost will stop speaking to me again.
Wow.
That was where it came from. But once that first one,
obedience,
100%. When that first one proved, it became easier for us to continue that journey all along the way. Yeah.
Wow. So, Pastor Jethro, do you want to add something that you said that there was no struggle? I'm just looking at, because I don't want to miss out on questions.
Your own perspective. Okay, on the struggles and how we handle them.
Yes.
No, I mean, there's no perfect home. Honestly, you just have growing homes. Just have growing homes. So there were times where, like I said, I was frustrated with the amount of work. There are also times where Nneka can get so very busy that she will not remember who has not eaten in the house. As much as she likes to cook, but sometimes she will not remember, I mean, I've now
remember to eat safe.
Yeah, she will not remember to eat or remember who has not, so it's all of those, challenges.
But it's refreshing to know that you don't like fresh food, that you appreciate bulk cooking. You don't say you must cut the vegetable, blend the tomato, fry the stew now.
No, in fact, I would. The older the better, sir.
Wow.
Actually, for him,
like fine wine.
He prefers like he make pepper soup and put it in the freezer first, and then we then take it later.
I don't like the fresh. I don't like the fresh food. Cook it, keep it in the fridge first, then bring it out.
Wow. I mean that works to our advantage. So I have a surprise. Let me see. Oh God. She said I'm supposed to have a surprise person. She was supposed to be here with her husband, and I'm gonna try to add her now. Let's see. Why is it? It's looking like I cannot invite her. She's supposed to join because she also had the same issue. Like, I don't know why I can't add you. Did you request to join? It was supposed to be a surprise, but now as I cannot add her. Funny enough, this Nneka people know how to find husband in the office. I don't know whether that's how they did you guys.
Funny enough, the Nneka in my office too. They met in the office. The other Nneka in my office.
Yeah.
We have a Nneka in my office. She also met her husband in the office.
You guys, you people are sharp now. They taught you something somewhere. So I think so. Looking back, before Nneka is able to join or tell me what's going on, Pastor Jethro, I'm sure you're glad, but can you tell us for certain that there are times when you look back and you're glad that you said, whether somebody asked you, do you think this one will listen? you're glad that you took a bet on her. Nneka, can you tell me like times in the last in last number of years, times where you said, thank God I didn't go for the person that in that time had more money? Please, Nneka.
Let's go first.
No.
Okay. All right. So for me, I would say that I've not had. I mean, to be honest with you, because that crisis we went through and that clear word I got from God. Okay, they've joined now. Nneka, how now?
She joined. I can't see her, but I'm glad that she's there.
Pastor
Like I can't see
Jethro.
you, but it's okay. I know you are there. I'm sure when I screen grab it later, I'll see you, but I can't
Okay.
see you right
I
now.
can see you very well. Very
Okay,
clear.
thank you. So Jethro, please finish that thought, and then I have my questions for Nneka because I had one experience with her, and we'll talk about that. So please go on, PJ.
All right. So I was saying that that crisis we went through. Okay.
Before we wedded.
All right. When I had that clear word from God, I think that had just been even till now. I still remember that word. So when people say, they go through, did I, I shouldn't have married this person. I can't, to be honest, because I'm sure I heard, I have a clear word. I had a clear word from God. So that is like let me call it an anchor, so to say.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, it's an anchor for me, so to say. So I would say that that really helps. So maybe that's something that couples need to also strive to get. Ensure you get a clear word from God. I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. I mean, for me as well, I can't say that, any day come and say, should I have done this? I was convinced. I am convinced. I have evidence. In fact, funny story. I remember one time, Pastor Maka, myself, and one other person, I won't mention, we're having a conversation, and they were asking me that, how do you feel? They already know your matter. You just like love. You will say yes. So I have not ever been in that space where I feel like, was this the right thing to do? Because, like you said, the evidence is clear, right? At the time, it didn't make logical sense to a lot of people, right? It didn't make, and with the bumps we went through, they were really, really rough, and would make any other person to say, "Come, there's no point. They don't do it happen. There's only one man in the world. There's only one woman in the world, But I say this when I write about my husband, and I say it every time. My husband's giving me a beautiful life. And what I mean by that is he's created a life for me that I couldn't have imagined. As in, I never sat down and had this is a dream of where I want to be in there. But I look at where he has led us to, and I am 100% grateful that I listened and obeyed God. Right? So when people say things like, did you know pastor's wife? I knew I was going to be in ministry even before I met him. That one was me and God had settled that conversation. I had fought the fight, me and God had struggled with God, and I settled it, so I knew. So for me, I tell people that he's giving me a beautiful life. When I look at where we are now, how far we've come in a short while, frankly, sis, I'm always thankful.
You are a great man. That's what she has just told you. You are boss. You are the emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion. That's who you are. Nneka, I can see you on this phone, but I like the fact I can see my girl, my prayer warrior, prayer disturber. She's everything.
So,
now, Nneka, particularly the first time I met Nneka, or the first time I noted her, it was at a meeting in PK and PM's house.
Was crying.
And
Yeah, tell them.
it was a counselor's meeting, and Nneka was crying because she had to leave her job because they couldn't work together in the bank as colleagues.
wow.
And she was crying. So I wanted her to talk us through that. You cried, but she had to leave, So I wanted her to walk through that story. And I know that. Why are you laughing? Oh, yeah, Nneka, please talk, please.
Missy. Okay, so I'll just give you a brief of the backstory. So myself and my husband, Bankole, we used to work in the same place. In fact, we met in the bank, and so as was the custom in Diamond Bank then, when someone new comes in, they will take the person round and introduce you to everybody. So it was a floor of about 100 people. And the first day they took me to, like, when I got to Bankole's seat, he said, I like this babe. You go be my babe. And me, I was like, what's wrong with this one? Feeling like a fine girl. First that girl, I get, who be this one? Like, I didn't pay him any mind. Little did I know. Okay. But Long story short, when he started getting, he was not giving me any space. He was just and he's a very friendly person, so everybody liked him. So nobody suspected that there was anything because he had some very close friends. Chika V, she still is one of his closest friends.
Oops. She's muted. Okay.
Nneka, what?
Yeah,
Someone
she's
was
back.
calling
You're
me.
back.
Can you,
Okay.
can you
Yeah.
please let me tell brother that, please? So people would not suspect because he was very close with a couple of ladies, and some of them were married. He has some married women, close friends, they're very close. They'll go to watch movies together. They'll go, So nobody would have suspected anything when he was coming close to. We're getting close. So when we decided we're going to get married, he had a boss that had gone to another bank that was going to take him to that bank. So somehow the boss was involved in something, and then he knew that he couldn't go there because if that boss was involved in that thing, and if you go there, they will sack him after a while because banks and some funny practices. So we decided, and he was ahead of me. So we decided that okay, since he was ahead of me, he was earning more than me, that I should leave. And so we got married. But as it was custom then, you could work for 3 months and then leave, or you could work for like a month. But my our what's her name? Is it director or something? She liked me, so she approved for me to work for 3 months. So I was still a bit touchy because I really loved my job. And then some months after I had left, my boss sent me a mail to say, Nneka, I just removed your name today from the promotion list. So I was still very touchy when we had that meeting. And at that point, I had not gotten another job. So it was a very tough decision. I knew that it was the right thing to do, but it didn't make it easy because, like Nneka, I'm a very passionate person. I love to work. I am not one of those people that want to sit down and be looking. No, I love my job. I do it very well, and it was very painful. And then at that meeting, Pastor M, she called me and said, "Well, why are you crying? Why are you crying? You want him to feel bad? Why?" I said, "Mama, is it me you love or is this Bankole?" I'm convinced that Bankole you love, Mama, but it was a hard one, but it was worth the while.
I think that was the first time I met you. I think because, and it was so touching, and because I was in HR, I was all that was my burden was okay. Where do I have a role? you know, at the company where I worked at the time. What does she do? But it never left my. I can see you. I'm literally in that meeting as we speak. That was the first time I saw her. I met her in my life, and she was crying because for love she left the office. And history it's a love matter. And this February thing that we're dealing with. That's why she left. That's why she left the office. But Nneka today, what do you? I mean, that's Nneka Ekpe, not Ekpe, Nneka Bankole. What's your story today? Are you happy that you somewhat sacrificed your career promotion for where you are at right now?
I have no regrets. He's an amazing person. He is not a good person to me. He's a good person. So Bankole is worth the sacrifice. He's somebody that is a good person. There's some people that are not worth that sacrifice, too, especially if you like your work. And then there's one story Pastor M told us some years ago about she told us this. The story is the exchange. It was a story of somebody killed somebody or somebody offed somebody, and then when he offed the person, his shirt was blood stained, and then police were after him, and so he ran into his house. The elder brother exchanged his shirt for him, and so the other brother was not going to bear the consequence of his action. And then he said to my brother, "Live like I would have lived." So my story with Banco is like that. So initially it was somewhat of an issue for us after a while because I'm the kind of person I get to work early. I leave late, like I am by the books. My husband is very chill. He's the kind of person, even the kind of boss that if you come to work a few minutes late, he doesn't mind. And even him, if he's going late, he doesn't feel it's a big deal. So because I'm thinking, I left my work for you. You have to go to that work early. I left, I was that person. You have to do. You have to. So my husband was like that. Life is not.
Please,
He's
where is
very
she?
chill, and things work for him like that. So when I'm like, no, do things by the book. He'll be like, Nneka, no, life is not that hard. Relax. No worry, I will call my boss. And his boss he was very friendly with everybody. You call the boss, and I'm running late though. Will say, why are you running late? Buy food from where you're coming. You say, I don't already buy the food. Why? Let's talk about food. So it worked for him. So is worth the sacrifice, in short. Worth the sacrifice.
So that's another nugget. Make sure it's worth the sacrifice. And I'm glad Nneka was able to join, because she literally said to me, because we didn't really follow up and Bankole was not going to be available. So there was supposed to be the three of us. That's me, you guys, and her. So, and because I wanted them to have the feel of the partners being around. So we decided that Nneka and I would chill for now. But I want to talk about at least 3 nuggets. I'm sure people got a lot of nuggets, and I didn't check the question icon again because we are out of time. One is that Nneka said this. I don't know whether you guys caught it. Their relationship, there was no sex involved. You know, that's when that made it a lot. It made it less complicated. Yeah. When you now start, some people that say we're in a relationship, they go and look for how they'll go and fire in the toilet. They go and look for how they'll be inappropriate somewhere. That didn't happen. And they studied the policy to be sure that this is what they could do, and this is what they could not do. Yeah. And those are the 2 major ones I'm talking. And the fact that they're very supportive. The working as colleagues has not impacted, as it were, negatively on their relationship, because Jethro was a human being in his office. He can call them and say, "You guys are stressing my wife. This is a bit too much. I don't need that." And they'll say, "Sorry, you," and all of that. So that really worked. The others are, I don't want to focus on that. But there's something Nneka just said. Make sure he's worth the sacrifice. All of you are hiding and going to sneak inside toilets. We were trying to encourage you to be Navi workers, to be diligent and face your work. Remember that Nneka and PJ said that they were supported, like they could understand. He was helping her do well in the office. She was helping him do well, and none of those kind of things. They were teammates, so she was making the team shine. The person that you want to leave this work for, is it worth the sacrifice? That's what Nneka too. Nneka, we'll call you Nneka too because you joined the second. Is this person worth the sacrifice? And you will know if the person is worth the sacrifice. If the person is getting you to do things that will put you in trouble, it's not worth the sacrifice. If the person is teaching you how to be rude, how to change numbers, how to lie, he is not worth the sacrifice. If the person is teaching you how to manipulate a situation to supposedly work in your favor, he's not worth sacrifice. And with these few points of mine, I want to ask you guys for your parting words. Please, your hand is up. Thank you very much.
Let me.
So because I get time, so if you raise your hand up, I raise the 2 of them. So please, Nneka, go.
I think because I have been invited a couple of times, different platforms talk about office romance. I want to say that one of the reasons why I always emphasize, and I always say it this way, I'm a person of faith, I'm a Christian, I believe as a Christian, but I think it's more important in the office romance setting, because you don't want how you do during sex to become a subject of discussion among the guys or among the babes. I feel like office romance, you have to do extra to protect your reputation, right? Because when people change jobs, people call people and ask, how was that guy? How was that girl? People meet at parties and ask questions. So you need to be extra careful to protect your reputation. I think for me, that's what I tell people. If I want to stay away from, I say it's my faith that underpins that decision. But because your work is beyond what you are doing today, you must be very careful about that. The other thing is, don't do anything that if they say it's because of he was liking her, you will not be able to defend separately. You won't feel good about it. Stay away from it. Right? Because the other thing again is, what if none of you are able to find another job? What if it doesn't lead to marriage? What happens? Because those are real issues. It may not lead to marriage. You think it's so easy to find a job. Some people are graced, like my husband, they can get a job, and some people, you are there and you are stuck with this guy who you've slept with, you've been to his house, you are this, you're that, you've cooked for him, you've done this, she's done that, she's done this for you. So if you are going to keep your career in front of you, please and please, office romance, play by the rules. Ensure you have alignment of values, that you don't become gossip fodder. They never even marry you yet, they never even put ring, they have become gist. The performance evaluation has already been affected by how you spoke to him before you left the house or before you were on your way, So for me, I think if we step away from the place of faith and just look at the practicality of it, it's you are here to work. You're supposed to be a Navi worker and be an example and a role model. You understand? Don't let your desire for love trump this, right? Make sure it's focused and you have the right support around you. to make sure that your eyes are still on the ball and you honor the first reason that you came into that building in the first place.
Wow. Awesome. PJ, this last session, Russia, I hope you are writing, because me, I'm writing, I'm trying to ask questions, I'm writing. Please, PJ, final words, because I can see some people are joining. They will have to catch I see my cousin from Houston. Thank you for joining. Peter Sings, thank you for joining. Okay, PJ, final words.
Okay, so for me, it's so when I hear people say that, oh, we came to the office, let's just do our work and go. Honestly, I think that's a very backward way of thinking. All right. Interestingly, I interviewed somebody not too long, like last year, and the person said the same thing, oh, that we just come to the office, you just come and do your work and you go. I think that's a very backward way of thinking, because the workplace is where you can form very life-changing relationships, just like just like it happened for us. So I would say maximize every relationship you have, and some relationship does not necessarily have to lead to marriage. Just honor people, just respect relationships. Just respect people. And there'll be loads of benefits from those relationships that you honor and respect.
Thank you so much, PJ. Nneka too.
Okay, thank you. I think that if you've done everything that Pastor Jethro has said and Nneka has said, that office romance is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So I think some 2 weeks ago, my sister-in-law called my husband. And he said, I've been calling you since you've been on the phone. He said, hey, I'm talking to my wife. He said, didn't both of you, didn't you leave home together? Like, you were in the same house. I said, hey. So we can be on the phone for hours because we have things to talk about. Guess what, amazing? We've all worked in the same place here in Canada, although for a short while. We worked in the same place here in Canada. So there's so
Office
much
romance is in your blood. Nneka too is in
hallelujah.
your
Take it
blood.
from me. So it's a beautiful thing. You have, like Pastor Jethro was saying earlier, you understand the work. You're able to have conversation. I'm able to tell him this is what is happening. He's going to talk to me about some of the issues at work, and we can together come up with solutions because we've worked together. We've worked in I worked in financial services back home. We've worked in financial services here. He has gone on to do bigger things from banking, and I worked investment banking before I came here. So we have things to talk about. We can talk about investments. We have gist for days. We can gist about people. We can gist about things, places we've gone to, and all of that. So, like Pastor Jethro said, it's a beautiful thing. Don't run away from it. If you do it by the books and if you're able to keep your reputation in case it doesn't work, because not all relationships lead to marriage, not all friendship lead to marriage. So, in case it
That's
doesn't
right.
work, you can see that person tomorrow and not be ashamed. You can still
Mm,
have your head up.
mm,
Because that person can
mm.
Yeah.
even introduce you to somebody tomorrow and say, this girl, you want to marry her, she's a good person, because nothing happened. But if something happened, even you safe, you will be feeling
You
somehow.
go to shy. You go
Yeah,
to
you'll be,
shame. When you see the person.
you know, everything it will not be good. So it's a beautiful
Thank
thing,
you
yes.
so much. Somebody, Vera, the sex part, she said, play by the rules, avoid situations where you have to shalaye, where you have to say, actually, it was when it was in order that, please, actually. Once you start saying actually, there's comma.
Over.
Once you start putting actually there, and this is coming from the sex part. So for us to be telling us, she said, keep your expertise till after the marriage and you are in the room, then come for counseling and come for therapy. Thank you so much. We pinned Nneka's handle, so please, I know my cousin from Houston just joined, and we normally have that people that watch later. So please, the handle, the LinkedIn profile is Jethro Iruobe and Nneka Jethro Iruobe. Pastor Jethro, I just the murder your surname, but it's
No,
okay. Take it like that. Then the IG handle is at Jethro Nneka at the Happy Employee Coach at Marriage Meets Money. I like that one. At Marriage Meets Money. So please follow them. Our YouTube channel is Navi Work Life on YouTube. If you have not followed, you are wrong. And I heard that when you follow, please watch a video. If not, it will not count as a follower. So please watch. We've had an amazing time. We're going to upload this video, even though we're going to save it. We're going to upload it on YouTube. We'll post different parts. We'll be posting their nuggets and be quoting them. Have you given us the right to quote you?
Oh,
You don't have to pay.
100%. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So yes, I'm be doing that. I've been phenomenally blessed. I've written about go playing by the rules, do it by the books, do what you can defend, be extra careful to protect your reputation, make sure he's worth the sacrifice. Marriage is not for for Instagram life, it is for life, it is
Yeah.
day life. So thank you so much. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I was taking notes. See my book. My book is very big. I'm not an ethical like Nneka, but we're trying. We're trying. Thank you so
Thank
much. I am
you. Thank you
truly
very much.
grateful. If I
Thank
tell you
you.
I'm not grateful, I'm not telling you the truth. And we will call on you again next
Oh
year,
yeah.
February. Maybe we will have more of you to say, does it work, does it not work? Or maybe somebody come and tell us an office romance that didn't work, but they held their
Yeah,
head up
yeah,
high
yeah,
and
yeah,
they're still
yeah,
pleased,
yeah,
because we have
yeah.
those situations. We like somebody in the
100%.
office, it doesn't really work and all of that. So this part of working from home, as I'm working, they're shouting mommy. So
Oh
after
yeah,
work,
that's part of it. Thank you.
thank you so much
Thank
and
you.
have an amazing
You
week. You can
too.
drop
You
out of the
too.
live now. Nneka, you can
Bye.
drop out
I'm
of the
good to see
live.
you. Bye. Thank you, Ameze.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much. Big hug, big hug, big hug, big hug. Thank you so much. Nneka, you don't drop out. Thank you so much. I know that you had an amazing time. Catch the replay whenever you want. We're going to upload them and we'll be sending out the nuggets. So please, some of them have said office romance is good, but play by the rules. And sometimes the romance doesn't lead to marriage. Don't make the person an enemy. If you play by the rules and you hold and you do it with integrity and self-respect and not run around, looking for where to get down with it in the office, you can always still maintain good relationships even though it doesn't lead to marriage. So thank you so much for hanging out with us for 1 hour 30 minutes. We normally do 1 hour, but when we have our guests, we do 1 hour. We can stretch it as we need to. So I'll see you again on the first Thursday of the month, and then the next time where we have another guest will be the last Thursday of the month. Thank you for hanging out with us, and God bless you. Have an amazing weekend. Bye.